Oh my gosh, Craig just did the most disgusting thing I've ever seen because I made fun of him with gum. He just spit it on his phone, and I'm not lying. I don't want to show it to you because it made me almost want to gag when he did it. And he's super sad that I'm saying it live right now because I hit live just so I could say it. Hi, everybody. Is anybody watching? No, not yet, I don't think.
Why would you just do that to me?
Hey, Misty. Oh, waving. Craig's got a wave. I don't even know what that looks like. You don't have to tell him.
You don't have to. I don't know what it looks like either. All right,
Misty,
guys.
what does waving look like?
We have.
Don't start. Don't start. We have to talk some more. Hi, Jessica. And other people that aren't showing that you're live watching us right now. Yay.
Yeah, wait till I got a whole bunch of things that I'm supposed to be telling people too from yesterday. We did an awesome thing yesterday at the Cinco de Strico that Ganayar did. Hey, Brad, Jessica. We did the Cinco de Strico thing. A lot of people are, hey, Jen, we're saying, hold on now. I get confused.
Wait. I am honored because we have the third place winner here watching us live right now. Brad Eriks. Shout out to Brad Eriks.
Oh, the third place winner
That's
of the Ganayar
right.
Cinco de Strico bowling tournament. That was awesome.
I got in trouble for not going because it's literally a block from my house. And I told Craig that somehow I need to get on this calendar because I obviously don't know when events are. So.
Well, first of all, Ganayar tells everyone when their events are, and they have a calendar. They have all kinds of good stuff.
But I need it to sync to my calendar because if it's not in my calendar, I don't do it.
All right, Sarah, write that down.
I don't
we need
have
to
time.
sync everything with Nicole Hansen's calendar.
You're funny.
I know. I mean, thanks. Okay, so we got a great show. We said that?
He drank a monster. I don't even think he can talk today.
This is going to be a heated topic right now because we saw a lot of this on the Ganayar page that was, a big fight about it. Agents that put listings in and say no showings for 2 weeks or something like that.
Or the coming soon listings. I feel like we need to have that news thing in the back, like breaking news right across.
Breaking news.
That is my attempt at technology. Breaking news with my hands instead of letters. There we go. We need our old-timey fedora hats.
Okay. So why don't we get into it? All right. Now we wrote down some pros and cons to this because this is one of those hot topics where there's pros and cons. It's not easy to decide if it's good.
And if you read through the comments on the Facebook Ganayar, there's definitely people are definitely go back and forth about it.
Yeah.
So what is we gonna do cons or pros first?
Let's start. Let's do one and one. Let's start with a pro. We only have one pro, right?
We have three.
We have
two pros. Two pros.
All right. Well, you start us off, Hansen. Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
This is a Nicole and Craig show.
All right. So I think we're gonna do negativity first. So basically, I think one of the comments was this can make a buyer think there's something wrong with property. So it's on the MLS and there's no showings and it's sitting there. It's a week and then you're like, yes, there's showings. And then you're like, no, there's not. And then it's another week. And now the buyers have seen it's on the market for 2 weeks and they've been asking to go see the property and they still can't. Buyers tend to think that there's probably something wrong with that property.
Well, not only that, and here's where I know a lot of agents get upset is because you call your agent, the buyer calls their agent, they say, hey, I want to see this house. And the agent says, well, we can't see it yet. And then they keep seeing that house on social media or they keep seeing it on the MLS and like, I want to see this house. Eventually they think it might be their agent in the way. Like the agent, maybe they don't have that time available, so they make up a lie and say, oh, we all know no one lies or anything like that. But that's what the buyer starts to think, like my agent won't get me in there. I'm just going to call the listing agent.
Yeah. And I think that rolls into the second con, basically.
Oh, I jumped the gun on cons.
It's fine, though. It's fine, though.
This is what happens when Nicole writes the outline of the show.
Yeah, well.
I don't know what it is, so I'm like,
this one was yakking on his monster, whatever.
Yakking on his monster?
Yeah, your monster drink, because you get all crazy.
So shout out to Jeff Lyons watching the show. He has awesome videos, too.
Yeah, your videos crack me up, Jeff.
Yeah, I can't do my videos as good as he does single. Like, I need to have a co-host here.
Me too. All right, so anyway, stop talking. The con doesn't make the other agents happy. So basically it causes distrust for the agents who have the buyers because you're like, I just actually had this happen to me at a property in Lowell. And I'm like, sorry, I can't get in. And then he's like, oh yes, next week you can get in. And I'm like, okay, great. And I tell the buyer, yeah, we can get in next week. and then we can't get in next week again, and then it gets pushed off again. And that buyer, I really had to work very hard to keep the trust of that buyer and to try to show her other properties, so that she didn't think I was just not telling her the truth.
Right. Yeah.
It didn't make me very happy, and it takes a lot of time having to call over and over again to the agent.
Yeah.
Like, is it available? Is it available? Is it available?
You know, and another thing to keep in mind, this is such a big thing right now because the inventory is so low.
Yes.
There's like 7 houses for sale and 1,000 buyers. So it's like, you know, everyone's fighting like, hey, I want my buyer to get it. We all do, but unfortunately there's only 3 houses for sale, and now there's only 2 right now. That's how fast it's going.
I did a search in Griffith a week ago, and there were 42 pendings and only 9 current listings, like active listings, which was insane. So
it's a great time to sell your house.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Yep.
So let's finish with the last con then. The other thing I saw that I thought was really relevant was if you put it in Ganayar, then it blows up on the other Zillow, Realtor.com, things like that. So it, again, kind of makes things painful for the people that, you know, are getting those leads, or buyers that are looking on Zillow or Realtor.com, and then they can't get into the property.
Yeah.
So with it going live, it's going to be out there live, and people are going to think it's active for that entire time.
Yep. So those are some serious cons.
Yeah, I think so.
Now let's not be all negative this morning. What do we got for pros?
Oh, you want me to go again?
Yeah, because I can't read your handwriting. She wrote it in cursive.
So the first one, I think, is the seller...
seller warts...
Seller wants...
Drive bags. See, I don't know what that is. What a seller warts drive bags.
So it actually says seller wants / drives buyers to the listing agent.
That's not an R. Or that is an R. That's an R.
Yeah. Okay.
She did an R, guys. She doesn't know how to do an N in cursive, apparently.
So
Am
the
I too loud?
You're just like totally going off topic every 3 seconds.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that.
Seller wants, and it drives buyers to the list agent, which Craig kind of talked about, you know, earlier about how then they're just going to the list agent, which is then making other agents mad, right? And then it's probably causing dual agency, which dual agency is always controversial. Craig loves doing it. It's not my favorite thing.
If you're an honest, ethical agent, you know, I don't think there's a problem with it. As long as you disclose everything to your seller, and your seller's okay and the buyer's okay, they have to sign that limited agency disclosure. I don't think we call it dual agency, but whatever.
Yeah. The problem with me is I always get anxiety when I'm in a dual agency transaction because I always have to watch literally everything I say to either party.
That is
because
true.
You have to be extra careful. So then I'm like, oh my gosh, should I have said that? Should I have said that? I don't know. Should I? Like normal conversations, you have to be careful because you can get carried away and let negotiation items out and you don't even realize you're doing it. So that's why dual agency for me, or limited agency, is kind of a snafu on that one. So, and the last pro, which I think is the best, to be honest with you, is marketing strategy. So I think
this was an interesting one.
Yeah.
This one I couldn't disagree with.
Yeah, I think really it can be a really good marketing tactic. No showings until open house kind of thing, so that everybody has a chance to see it at the same time. And it drives a highest and best offer for your seller because it's really in the best interest of the seller at that point, right? The seller doesn't have to leave the house 800 times with their kids or dogs or whatever's going on. They have to leave once for a good, 3-4 hours, whatever it is. And the big thing about, I think everybody felt on the Ganayar page was, the list agent then also said, I didn't show it either. And I think that's probably the fairest and most ethical way to do it. Because I did see other agents saying, they don't think it's fair the list agent shows. So I think if you do it that way, I could definitely see how it would be a pro and actually would help buyers agents, because then at least everybody got a shot at seeing it instead of you're trying to do an appointment and you can't get in and everything else, and then you lose it because you never even got the opportunity.
Yeah, that is pretty interesting. And I can definitely see a pro with that, especially if the listing agent isn't showing it and trying to just sell it out from under everyone. It's something, if a property is super hot, it's in a community that's moving very quickly, it's going to be priced correctly, and it's going to go really fast. It's not a bad, I don't think it's a bad thing. And here's the problem. Again, there's 1,000 buyers for 7 houses. So all these agents are going to be upset about it, and all these agents are trying to do what's best for their client and get their person in there. you know, the poor listing agent's got the poor listing agent has so many offers.
Cool.
You know, but anyway, you know, you're always gonna. That's one thing I hate about multiple offers is there's always gonna be an agent upset about it. You know.
Yeah, there's really no way around that, and you can only do the best that you can for your buyer in that situation. The one thing that we haven't talked a whole lot about, and I didn't know a whole lot about until we've kind of had this discussion in, you know, like an IR Facebook and now us talking about it now, is if you do have a coming soon listing that say you want to do a video for and you want to try to drive, you know, that marketing, like we're talking about doing that marketing strategy, if you have the signed listing contract with it, which if you're doing a coming soon video, you probably should, right? You are supposed to technically have that listing in an MLS within 48 hours. If you don't, you need to submit an MLS, what's it called? Submission waiver form. So if you submit that form, you can do coming soon all you want. If you don't, it's a fine. So just keep that in mind, that, you know, if you are doing coming soons or choosing to do that marketing strategy, that you are filling out that form to avoid yourself the MLS fine.
Yeah. And always just, you have to know that it's going to annoy some other realtors.
Yeah.
You know?
You're going to take the flack for it.
Yeah. Is it worth it? I don't know. You know, having a good reputation in this business, when you're up against multiple offers, if you are an agent that is very difficult to work with, your buyer might not get the offer. Like someone else that's an agent that's very, you know, well seasoned veteran, someone, or not even that, just maybe someone who is easy to work with and they know, you know, they know what they're doing, they do a good job. That agent sometimes will get the multiple offer, you know, the offer accepted over an agent that is difficult to work with.
Yeah.
So that's something to keep in mind. Don't be a pain in the biscuits.
Yeah, we always
we're only using good words on the Nicole and Craig. It's a family friendly show, folks.
You know, we're always talking about, I think every 4 or 5 shows we talk about your reputation, and I think people need to understand really how consequential that is to your business and your long-term, you know, business and working with other people. You are going to come across, you know, how many agents do we have in the MLS?
4,872,312.
Okay. I thought it was around
2,200.
Yeah, something. Okay. So you are at some point going to come across the other agent that you've dealt with in the MLS, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, if it's a newer agent, they may ask senior agents in the office, you know, what do you think about this person, blah, blah, blah. And your reputation precedes you. So what does this say? Melissa, educate the seller. Yes.
That's a good point too, Melissa. And here's another thing that I didn't even say. First of all, you have to disclose all this to the seller. The seller needs to be on board with it. The seller needs to understand, here's what is bad. This is what I would say is a bad version of this. If you're an agent that is doing it for the wrong reason, you want to kind of, I call it sandbagging the listing, where you're not telling anyone about it. You're putting it just on your social media. You know, you're trying to get your own buyer and sell the house, you know, so you get that double commission, so to speak. You know, if you're doing it like that, that's what's going to irritate other agents, and they're not going to like you. They're not going to trust you. You know, that's what you have to be careful. And that's not in the best interest of the seller.
Exactly what I was going to say.
The seller, you know, the best interest for them is for their house to be exposed on the open market where it's fair to everyone. Even that, you know, that agent that's considered, you know, hard to work with or something like that, we can't penalize the buyer. The buyer might be a great buyer that's looking to buy a house, you know? A great buyer that's looking to buy a house. That's redundant. Sorry, folks.
Overall,
redundant Friday.
No matter what you decide to do with your coming soons or the whole we can't show it thing, as long as whatever you're doing is in the best interest of your client, then you're going to be fine. If you're not doing it and you're doing it for self-serving reasons, that's where you're going to run into problems.
Yes, and with everything like this, when we're ever talking about hot topics like this, if you are not 100% sure that what you're doing is the right thing to do, you can call Ganaya, you can call your managing broker. I mean, ask a question. Don't just do it.
Yeah.
This isn't Nike over here.
I don't even know what that means. Yeah, I agree with Craig on that. Ask the question before you do something. At least you're going to get the right answer.
All right. Is that all we got?
I think that's it, guys. Thanks for watching today. We appreciate it, as always. And we will see you next Friday.
All right. Thanks. Everyone.